It's Earth Day 2025, and to celebrate, we are doing an ASMR video vlog of my 2024 gardening journey. As you can see, this is what I started with, and I really wanted to grow potatoes, strawberries, and tomatoes this year. They were my main goals. I started by opening the pack of strawberry bare roots I got from, I think, Walmart. And I think I was a little late to start because the pack I got were really dry and I think they were dried up. So I didn't know any better, so I thought I could save them and hydrate them, which we'll see later. But yeah, I got these bare root strawberries because I wanted to try growing strawberries from bare roots instead of seeds or seedlings, because I thought the bare root way or method was really interesting and I wanted to try it out. But as you can see in this clip right here, and if you take a listen, it's very obvious how dried up these strawberries are. And I'm not sure if they were salvageable. Now these are red potatoes, and I actually really like red potatoes over other potatoes, so I'm really excited to plant these. And you can kind of tell how long these have been on the shelves on Walmart by how long the roots have grown. I'm using TikTok videos, YouTube videos, Google to do all the gardening, by the way, in this video. So, yeah, if my methods are weird or wrong, I apologize. The internet taught me how. But we're just packing in the dirt in these small pots for the tomato seeds. For this particular method, I found a YouTube video on how to garden with seeds. So, in that video, they said to pack the dirt gently and not too much, just so the plant can come out of the dirt when they germinate, and not to put the seeds too deep into the dirt. I was like 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch into the dirt. I was really just guesstimating all of this. But we're just sprinkling the seeds into the pots before we gently pack more dirt on top. Here are some of the other things I bought, but these were from Amazon. I got plant labels, and I've already written down tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and peppers, so I won't get confused which pot has what. And another thing I got from Walmart was this cute yellow elephant watering can that I thought would make gardening more fun. So now with all the seeds potted and put in their new homes, we're going to go ahead and put our cute yellow elephant watering can into action and water the new seeds. Make sure they're damp, hydrated, and quenching their thirst. Right afterwards, before I forget which pot is which, I use the plant labels. These ones are the tomato seeds, so I use the tomato labels. So we had 5 tomatoes, 4 cherry tomatoes, and 4 peppers. So that would be a total of 13 potted plants first pack we opened the other day. The first pack had some pretty okay roots. They weren't too dry, so I'm hoping the second pack will have more like this and not totally dry. But I go ahead and hydrate these in like a bucket full of water off camera, and I leave it soaking for a few hours. While the strawberries soak in a bucket, I went ahead and finished potting more of the tomatoes and peppers. I ran out of nursery pots the first day, so I went to get more on Amazon, and I also ordered more plant labels. So these were the nursing pots I had for the first video. These are the new ones I got on Amazon. I like these ones because they're softer and easier to mold the dirt in. And there was a lot more in one pack. So I'm packing in more dirt into the new nursery pots. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in more tomato seeds. I feel like we can use the rest of the packets today. The pack of nursery pots and labels I got had 50 more. I did not expect so many seeds, so I was unprepared, but I am prepared today. As I finished potting, my strawberry roots were clean and hydrated, and I tried to look for the crown, and I'm showing you the size of the crown, and the rest of it is the roots. So this is the smallest bare root and versus the biggest bare root I got from the strawberry packs I bought. So I'm comparing the two. But yeah, they look so dried and shriveled. Here is a close-up of one of the bare roots, and I'm trying to show you guys the crown, which I saw in a video is not supposed to be under the dirt, and anything under that crown is the root of the strawberry and should be under the dirt. And that's how I'm going to be potting these strawberries. So I'm going to head and carefully pack the dirt around the root of the strawberry without burying the crown, and doing my best to not damage any of the roots, because with how they already look, I have to do my utmost best to be gentle. And here are the results of potting all the bare root strawberries. And then I'm gonna use this 7-gallon grow bag for the rest and see if they'll grow better inside of this than the nursery pots. With all the potting done, we're on to our last step, which is watering everything. And these strawberries definitely need a lot of water since they started off so dry already. I have to keep them quenched. Here's the ones that are in the grow bag. I got to fit 3 in it, made sure there was ample space for them to grow, and stretch their roots. And then I water them as well. Our cute little yellow elephant has their work cut out for them. With the strawberries potted and out of the way, I continue with the seeds. The one in this clip are the tomato plants, and I have 6 of the nursery pots ready. So all I have to do is sprinkle the seeds in. This part is my favorite because I don't have to worry too much. I just have to put them in the dirt and make sure that they're not in too deep. A lot less stressful than the strawberry bare roots. I was told to put more than 2 or 3 just because I heard that the chances of all of them making it are very slim, so you need the backup. Say hi to the tomato seeds. Now with my handy dandy hairspray, we're going to spray some reason, on these days I was gardening, it was very warm and very sunny, but quite windy. Here goes the plant labels for cherry tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, lima. Now I'm going to go ahead and make more labels because I ran out. And I also didn't make any for the strawberry plant, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you guys can enjoy some marker or writing sounds. Again, apologize for the wind. It was quite windy this day. So here's a cute little shot of everything I've potted so far. We have the cherry tomatoes, the strawberry bare roots, the large regular tomatoes, and the pepper. I did not take a video of the potatoes being planted and potted, so I apologize for that. It's been almost 2 weeks, and we are already starting to see some of the pots germinate. These were the first 2 to germinate, so I moved them up from the garage to the kitchen windowsill. I think they're the cherry tomatoes or the regular tomatoes. Another week has gone by, and it is May, and our potatoes are starting to show some signs of growth, and we have our first leaves budding through the dirt, which is a good sign. The strawberry bare roots were showing no progress of growing, so my dad and I invested in 2 of these strawberry seedlings, and they were doing quite well, as you can see by these runners. They're called strawberry runners, and they're basically like an extra plant growing out of the mother plant or the original plant. And this one even had a berry, which is our first berry, and then another one sprouting, but it's very tiny. So this one already had two, and the leaves are quite green. So I say the two seedling plants were worth it. Now checking back in our nursery, we have some new sprouts in our collection of nursery pots. The tomatoes are growing quite well, and I've moved a few more pots upstairs to the kitchen windowsill, and these are just the four I'm showing you because they're the ones that have like the most growth. The seeds that are not doing as well are the peppers. I was not able to move any of the peppers upstairs because none of them were germinating, but the cherry tomatoes and tomatoes were making up for it, as you guys can see. Just look at my army of growing soldiers. Now with our weekly check-in with our potatoes, and I was super excited to see that it sprouted even more leaves and that it's super green and healthy. Look at it closely and see how healthy the leaves are. So my dad thought that my tomato seeds were taking too long to grow, and the strawberry seedlings did so well. He got tomato seedlings, and the ones he got were already flowering, and I actually really like the flowers. They're this cute yellow flowers that remind me of daffodils, and this one had a lot more than the other one, so I feel like this one will grow a lot more, bear more fruit. I think tomatoes are fruit. I count them as fruit, but some people call them veggies. I'm not sure. But yeah, so we are invested in tomato seedlings as well as our strawberry seedlings, since they are all flowering. Speaking of the strawberry seedlings, this is their progress right now, and the leaves are starting to go limp, and I feel like that's because that single berry, or the two berries, but mainly this one that's super red, is taking all the energy out of the rest of the plant, and I can't even eat it because, as you can see, the birds got to it first, which is kind of gonna be an ongoing theme in this video, which you guys will see later. But yeah, the other berries stopped growing and that one got eaten. Meanwhile, this one is blooming and blossoming, and there are a lot of leaves, and it has more flowers, and the flowers are growing a berry of its own, as you can see. I've actually never seen strawberries grow, so I thought it was quite interesting that the strawberries come out of the center of the flower. I just thought the flower falls off and the berry grows. I did not know it literally comes out of the flower. Gardening is such a learning experience. So I thought I was only going to be growing fruits and veggies this spring and summer, but I was inspired to grow some sunflowers because my grandma really loved sunflowers, so I wanted to give it a try. I chose the mammoth gray striped sunflower and the crazy blend sunflower, which is basically like a variety of fall sunflowers. I chose the mammoth sunflower because it says it would grow 6 to 10 feet tall, and I've always wanted to grow my own gigantic sunflowers after seeing them in pictures, video games, and other people's backyards. And these are what the seeds look like. They're quite big, and they look actually quite tasty. Like, they look like the sunflowers you would eat. And those are the sunflower mammoth gray stripes. The next sunflowers I chose and hardy, so you don't have too many rules. You don't have to be too gentle with the care and planting of them, so I'm literally just putting them in the dirt and burying them. And I chose 2 spots for the mammoth grays. One in the backyard lining my fence so that when it grew, it would kind of peek over the fence and say hello to people passing by. And then the other spot is on the side of my house, so it would just, decorate, give my house some color on the sides, besides my mother's roses. But I'm just gonna go ahead and pat the dirt and bury the sunflower seeds. Now I'm watering them. They're all planted. I just threw an assortment in there. I have 300 to 600 seeds, so I just kind of threw as many as I could. And then for the crazy blend ones, I made these 5 different patches in the backyard next to my mom's roses, and I'm hoping that the hardiness of the seeds will allow them to grow without too much effort. So I dug those holes, threw as many seeds as I could, planted them, and then watered them. It's been about a week, a total of 10 days, since I planted these mammoth gray striped sunflower seeds, and some of them have been victims to birds as soon as they germinated, and they look like they've been chewed on, nibbled on, and then they're like stubs. You could see that they made it out of the dirt, but they did not survive the birds. You can see this one is barely coming out. He's trying to burst free from the dirt. And then this one has survived the birds and have not been eaten yet. Probably because they're just coming out of the dirt. They're still in their seeds. But yeah, they all made it out. They're all surviving. Except for the ones that got eaten by the birds. Fallen soldiers. These seeds that are being attacked by the birds, by the way, are the ones that were planted in the backyard. So I might have to be mindful this year of where I plant the sunflower seeds, so that the birds don't feast on them again. Here are a few more survivors. I was hoping that these would make it through since they got pretty tall and was not snacked on by the birds. So yeah, quite a few that were eaten, but there was still quite a few that also made it out of the dirt without being eaten. So it was like 50-50. I have no footage of the crazy blend sunflowers because they did not germinate and they're still just a patch of dirt. So there was no progress there yet. Now we're back with our potato check-in, and it is June and it looks so healthy and it's getting so much taller. And there's a new sprout. So I'm hoping that the other potatoes are growing as well. There's a total of 3 sprouts now, with one being a full-grown plant. My dad was enjoying the tomato and strawberry seedling so much, he got an eggplant plant. I don't know if I can call this a seedling anymore because it has flowers, so I think it's just an eggplant plant, and it's blooming for the first time. We got 2 again, and my favorite thing about the eggplant plants is that they have this nice maroony purple color to them, and it's just so different from our very vibrant green plants. Like, you could tell right away which one the eggplant plant is, even without any blooms tomatoes or fruit, or as this one would be, a vegetable. I just like the coloring of this plant so much. Checking in on our tomato plant from the seedling, we can see that the one that was flowering a lot did bear a lot of fruit. In fact, it already has 4 tomatoes. They're very green still, so not very ripe, but they're already pretty big. So it's been like a full month, and we finally checked in on our cherry tomatoes, and based on all the research I did on when to transfer our seeded plants from their pots to the real world dirt, these were the 2 main things I kept seeing, so they seemed very important. One, that they needed to be at least 3 inches tall, and 2, they needed to have their first 2 sets of true leaves. So the true leaves are those leaves at the very top of the plant, as you can see, that have like a pattern on it. Those are the true leaves. I like to think they look like hands, like they have fingers now. But yeah, I was very nervous for this stuff because if I did it too early, they would just die, and all my hard work will be for nothing. Here they are, transplanted from the pot to the real world dirt, as I'm calling it now. These are the tomatoes. These are, I can't read the label. They're either more tomatoes or the cherry tomatoes. Looking back at this video, I think they were quite tiny, quite small, especially next to the seedling tomato plant, with its big balls of tomatoes already growing. Okay, here are the cherry tomatoes. They have their own little patch to grow in. They're all pretty close together. I put them near each other so I could water them together, and they're near the tomato seedling plants. After transplanting the tomatoes and cherry tomatoes, I went to check on the potatoes, and I got a little worried because the big healthy sprout is starting to wither and yellow, and then the other 2, fortunately, were looking quite healthy and sprouting bigger. I think this is a good point in the video to let you guys know that none of the mammoth sunflower seeds I planted in the backyard survived the birds. Apparently, these ones, as you can see, are thriving, and these are the ones I planted at the front of my house, at the side. And then these are the sunflower crazy blends, the assorted ones. I put them in 3 batches instead of the 5 in the back. The 5 in the back have not been showing any signs of growth, but these ones are all growing. There's actually 4 of them in this one patch. And then this I did out of like a whim. I just wanted to see if they would grow, are a bunch of mammoth sunflower seeds I planted in a row in the front, and now that they're growing, I'm hoping they'll just be a row of giant sunflowers saying hi to the cars passing by. It's about another week later, and it's finally time to check on our potatoes, and the one that was withering away and turning yellow has finally dried up and is ready to harvest. And it gave us this itty bitty cutie patootie little potato. You can't hear it, but me and my dad are giggling at our first harvest. But there was a surprise. Its brother was quite big. which is actually a pretty decent sized red potato. If you know what red potatoes are, that's actually quite average. There was sadly not another one, even as I kept digging, but as this was my first harvest from this gardening journey, I was not upset. I was quite happy, and I carefully put the dirt back so that I would not disturb the other sprout. After harvesting our potatoes, we went to go and harvest our first tomatoes of the season as well, and the plant that has been flowering has given us our first ripe tomatoes. I am still in awe with the potatoes, so I don't know why I'm looking at the potato again. But here are the tomatoes. You can see there are 3 ready for the picking. The first one is very bright, very healthy. It completely rolls off the plant. The second one is rotting. My dad said it's nabubulog, or rotting in Tagalog, but it's okay because we had a third one. And here it is, the harvest of my first gardening journey. 2 red potatoes and 2 tomatoes. Here they are in my kitchen after they have been washed up. I think it's so funny that we got tomatoes and potatoes. Tomatoes, potatoes, patatas, tomatas. That's not how you say it in my language. It's patatas and kamates, but yeah. They're so cute. I still think they're so cute. These are my first ever harvest from my hard work in 2024. My firstborns, my first babies. Look at how cute they are. About 3 weeks, almost a month later, this is the progress of the tomato plants. And they are growing so much that my dad had to make a makeshift stick crutch thing to keep the plants from falling over, from bearing the weight of all the tomatoes. And with how big they've gotten, they're quite heavy too. You can see that they're in various stages of being ripe and unripe, and some have even started rotting or were pecked at by bugs or birds. This is a good time to tell you guys that the cherry tomatoes and tomatoes I transplanted from pot to dirt did not survive. They immediately dried up the next day. Now we're back at the potatoes, and the little sprout from last time is now his own big plant. But unlike the very first plant we had, this one was nibbled on by some garden critters, as you can see by the holes in its leaves. But it is green and not yellow and not wilting yet or dried up, so it's a sign that the potatoes are still growing and I do not have to harvest it yet. Oh, and there was a little surprise in the backyard, so I thought that all the seeds, including the crazy blend seeds, were eaten by the birds, but one survived and has actually been growing. This is my first footage of it, and this is one of the sunflowers, again from the crazy blend, so I have no idea what color it will be. Another week or so later, this is what we were able to gather from our tomato plant, and it's quite a bounty. This one is so cute. It reminds me of those tomatoes in Japanese bentos, but they're at various stages of ripeness, and I think there's some plums in there, I don't remember. Look at how pretty it is with all the different colors of tomatoes. And it is our weekly potato check-in, and look at the jungle that my potato plant has become. I was super shocked to see that the little sprouts that I had before this huge, giant potato plant. I'm showing you guys that it's just one plant and that it's not multiple potato plants together. As you can see there, it's coming from one patch of dirt. So it's probably one patch of potato. I was really, really proud and happy for this one because the first potato plant withered and died so quickly that I was not expecting this one to grow so much. And I had high expectations for this potato plant. I wanted at least 2 giant tubers. We are now into the month of September, and the single crazy blend sunflower in the backyard has grown, and it is attracting our first bee. Look at the cute little bee saying hello to our sunflower. But this was from the crazy blend, and it grew to be a yellow sunflower with like tinges or hues of what looks to be brown or orange in the middle. I was really happy that we had at least one sunflower grow in the backyard. I think it's really interesting that it's in the middle of opening, because I've never seen like the process of a sunflower grow, so seeing it halfway open is kind of cool. Now we're checking in on the mammoth sunflowers at the front, and they have not blossomed yet, but they are quite huge. I am not giving its size any justice because I'm showing you guys it so close up front, but it was like up to my waist at this point, and this one's pretty small, but that one is, I can see it's growing really tall. So these mammoth sunflowers were living up to its name. I think I planted them a little too late because I don't see them being 6 feet, but they were definitely getting bigger than the sunflower in the backyard, which was a regular sunflower. I also think the way it's blooming is so cool. That's why I keep getting close-ups of it, because it looks like a cactus. But yeah, these were the mammoth gray stripe sunflowers. So here we are checking on the crazy blend sunflower in the backyard 2 days later, and it has finally fully bloomed, and it has bloomed gorgeously. I love that it grew to be an actual yellow sunflower, because I like the original coloring of the sunflower, even though I said I was interested in seeing the other ones. I appreciate the original coloring the most. About 2 weeks later, near the end of September, we are finally ready to harvest the last potato plant, because it's starting to wither and yellow, and yeah, the plant is dying, which is a good sign that the potatoes have fully grown. And we already have one potato showing up out of the dirt. It's another tiny one, just like our first harvest, but this one we can actually pull. I've been dying to do a potato pull since I started this journey, and I'm so glad I get to do it, even though it's quite a small pull. A pull nonetheless means there's multiple tubers, and this one has some pretty hefty tubers like this one. I think this is a very big red potato. Dare I say grocery size. Like we could sell that at a market. And the other ones are pretty small with one decent sized one. But I think the one we first pulled out was their biggest. But yeah, I got to do my first potato plant pull, and I was really ecstatic about that. Especially first time, where I grew 3 at a time. This is an early Fuji apple tree, and I love Fuji apples, but I've never heard of early Fuji apples before until we moved into this house. But it basically got its name because it ripens about a month and a half before the regular Fuji apple, but it tastes the same. It's just as sweet and crisp. I just wanted to share this tree with you guys because technically it is a part of our garden. With the end of September coming, I thought it would be appropriate to show you guys the sunflower's progress as our gardening journey comes to an end. Especially this one that we grew in our backyard because it has 2 sunflower heads, which I thought was really lucky and really cute and unique to look at. It's so Disney coded or Studio Ghibli coded to have a sunflower with 2 heads. But hopefully, since you guys are seeing this 2-headed sunflower as well, you'll get some of the good luck too. Now, that's the end of the video. Here are the mammoth gray stripes as our outro clip with some of the assorted sunflowers growing too. They grew a little late, but they made it. Just like some of you guys made it to the end of the video without sleeping. I hope you guys enjoyed this garden